Well, my name is Shane Bassett. I'm a physical therapist. We're in Spokane, Washington, here with Greg, and I was his physical therapist through a long ordeal at the hospital that we're going to talk about.
And my name is Greg Soumokil. I am 56 years old. I'm a recipient of a total artificial heart, one of 28 people in the world, because my heart was in such bad shape that we exhausted all of our other options while I was in the hospital.
We can hear your heartbeat.
Sounds like a galloping horse.
You got a racehorse in your chest.
Yeah, I do. That's what keeps me going every day.
You have to carry it with you.
Yes, I do. I've been using a walker, but I do have to carry it on my back on occasion. I know you like to hear this, Shane.
How heavy is it?
It weighs 13 pounds. The reason I have that walker is a crutch to carry the device itself, because I can walk on my own without it. Mm-hmm. But I'm working with physical therapy right now. My goal is to eliminate the walker and be able to just carry the pack at all times.
You came into the hospital February 28th. You remember how many days total that was?
97 days.
That's a lot of days in the hospital.
It could have been quite a bit longer if I wouldn't have had the drive from you and all the physical therapy people and the occupational therapy driving me to get myself physically stronger, and that's what's allowed me to be on the outside living at home right now.
We spent a lot of time together, didn't we? Our sessions were about an hour, sometimes hour and a half.
You didn't lay down at all. You were very pushy, so to say, but without that push, I probably would still be in the hospital. When I told you I can't do this, you looked me straight in the eye and said, I don't want to hear you say you can't do this, but it's just difficult for you to do. It was no easy road by any means. And I can remember getting out of bed the first time with all the machinery and everything hooked to me and making those very first steps out of the room there in the ICU.
It took us probably about 2 weeks to get you to the point of walking.
We measured the distance of my steps every time that we went out. Mm-hmm. And first day might have been 40 feet. The next time it might have been a little bit more. I felt like, okay, if I walked 100 feet, the next day I was thinking about walking 150 feet.
One of the very first days sitting you up on the side of the bed, and you only lasted about 10 minutes before you were completely exhausted. And then the next day we worked on getting to the chair. You probably don't remember how hard it was for you to even stand up. It took about 5 people to get you into the hallway to walk that day, because someone had to take you, someone had to take your heart, someone had to take all your IV poles because you had half a dozen medicines, and then you also had dialysis going and oxygen. I mean, it was such a cool thing to have all those things come together for you.
Dr. Smith told me that for every day that you don't get out of bed in the physical therapy part of it, you can add 3 days onto your stay. So that was kind of another incentive for me to get my lazy butt up and try to do what I could. The videos that were taken of me getting out of bed and making the first steps out of the room is a lot for me to look back on and realize that, what bad shape I was actually in.
That first day you came into the emergency department, what did you think was going to happen?
When my wife dropped me off, we had a plan, and our plan was to place a balloon pump in me. I thought that was pretty much going to be the only thing that was going to happen. And that was in order for the balloon pump to go in, that was going to keep me alive. That's what I was thinking. When they did the balloon pump, it didn't pan out so good in the beginning there. I think it only lasted a few days.
You knew your heart was failing, and you've been dealing with that for a while, but to have all of this just heaped on you all of a sudden and to make these life and death decisions, no one's prepared to do that.
When this all began, I had an accident when I was on the job. I had passed out in the ditch. We were laying some water line. It was about 100 plus degrees out that day. I had passed out inside the ditch, and I was the only one on the job site at the time. My coworker was out getting a load of gravel. And when I came to, luckily I was able to make my way out of the ditch that I was in, because it was a 6-foot ditch that I was digging a hole in. I can remember getting out of the ditch and getting back to my truck and going to the house that we were renting. And I ran into my coworker on the way back to the house, and I told him him, I said, I'm not feeling good. I'm going to go to the house and take a shower. I didn't realize at that point that, I was having a heart problem. My coworker showed up, called the ambulance. And when the paramedics showed up at the house, they put me on an EKG, and my heart was racing at well over 200 beats per minute, which is pretty extreme. I actually flatlined on the table there in the hospital 3 different times. And every time that they brought me back around, my heart was still racing at over 200 beats per minute.
You had so many things stacked against you. You came out on top. You got home. I knew you could do it, but reality is such a different thing sometimes. And that day that you went home, that was special.
I watch the video of my exit out of the hospital just about on a daily basis.
So what do you think you'll take from all this when you look back and when you tell your grandkids?
The only thing I can instill in them is to try to take care of their health as best as possible. I smoked cigarettes for 42 years, pretty sure that attributed to my heart failure. So I'm really looking forward to a transplant, and that will come when it comes.
Well, I very much look forward to that day, because I'll be standing at the foot of your bed, tapping my watch, saying, "Okay, Greg, time to go."
I feel the same way, Shane. I'm really looking forward to getting driven again. Instead of having the backpack on my back, I'll have you on my back.
That'll be the ultimate day, huh?
You meant a lot to me. Got me to where I'm at.
You meant a lot to me too, Greg.